What up, 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 beautiful people? What's up, beautiful people? Hey, sexy people. Hello to my people. Tell me where you're watching me from. Are you watching me from LinkedIn? Are you watching me from Twitter? Are you watching me from, or I'm sorry, I keep calling it Twitter. You guys, I know. Shame, shame, shame. Of course, I don't mean Twitter. Of course, I mean X. If you're watching me from X, I want to hear from you. If you're watching me from LinkedIn, if you're watching me from Facebook, welcome, you guys. Welcome to Nights with Nicci. Y'all, let me just get this pocket going just a little bit because don't y'all just love this? And somebody actually sent me asked a question about where the theme song music comes from. Shout out to my boy PK. This is just, good vibes, you guys. Good vibes. Tonight, we're drinking Topo Chico. This is mineral water. For those of you who don't know, mineral water is supposed to be better for you. Well, some people. Does what it's supposed to do by me. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. We got a lot of cool things to talk to y'all about. I see you, Mohammed. I see you, J Rock. I see you all just watching us from all the various platforms, and I'm very grateful. Shout out to X. Y'all are in the building. X be coming in the building. Make sure you share and retweet and repost. Shout out to all my beautiful people watching me on TikTok. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Please share some likes. Please share the video as you come in and watch me on Facebook. Please make sure you share what we're doing on Facebook. Hi, IG. Let me see what's going on. Y'all, okay, so this is one of those time periods where your girl's going to be going hard in the paint for advocacy for artists and for creatives. This is the beginning of something very, very special. So I'm just going to tell y'all now, chances are you're going to have to put the notification buttons on if you want to make sure that you don't miss the lives, because, usually when I start turning into Nikki Luther King or Nikki Daniels Tubman, somebody said that today to me, actually. It was crazy. Somebody was like, yeah, you channeling Harriet Tubman vibes. I'll take it. Anybody who is a leader, anybody who is brave and fearless, I'll take it. Hey, Sea Breeze, I see you. Yes, excuse me. Yes, you did catch me tonight. And you guys, I'm going to have a couple of little moments because, of course, I'm drinking Topo Chico, which is carbonated. So there's that. But welcome, 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 you guys. Tonight, my lip. I'm always getting questions about the lip that I'm featuring. The lip that I'm featuring tonight is Detroit's own Melissa Butler's Lip Bar. I'm always rocking the Lip Bar. I don't know what red it is, but it's one of them reds. I got a gang of reds from her. Also, I am, of course, rocking my Bob Marley Buffalo Soldier. Hey, dreadlock Rasta. Hey, why, why, one love, everybody, one love. Had to get the energy right. Had to get the vibes right. You under dig. Got to get the vibes right. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Y'all, you know what I discovered? I discovered that I love this product, I'm sorry. And I'm going to go on ahead and plug this product, even though I don't have an endorsement from these people, because when something works for me, hey, hi, Miami. I see you, Miami. What's up, Miami? When something works for me, I like to share it, right? And it's so funny because I shared this yesterday. Y'all see this right here? Hold on, let me make sure y'all can see this. Y'all see this business right here? Y'all see this business right here? Yeah. I want to say to all my booster queens, all my shoplifters, anonymous people, all of my snatch it up Sarahs, right? And why I say Sarah, I don't know. No particular reason. The Sarah I know would never snatch things out of a store without paying for them and make it difficult for those of us who actually go in and get products. It took me 529,000 minutes to take the extra security and the extra tape that they're wrapping things up with in the beauty supply stores. Y'all listen, y'all. Now, we want them to treat us better, right? This is Creatives Equality Awareness Month. And I'm sure many of you out there understand the importance of supporting creatives and them being able to have people buy their products without having to peel all this shit up. And then who wants a product with all this extraneous stuff on there? So anyway, to all you booster betties, stop making life difficult and for all of us that don't be doing that shit, because these beauty supply stores be wrapping things up 10, 20 times unnecessarily. But this particular product is called Got to Be Glued, and it's brow and edge gel. And baby, I'm not going to do it now because I can't see my brows that good. But baby, when I tell you. Now, I'm going to monitor it because I know sometimes with edge controls, you have to be careful because, ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But I used it on my edges and my brows today. And baby, now mind you, my edges are starting to become a little gray, a little silver, a little platinum because your girl's 55. So they might look a little like edgeless because some of the hairs are white, as y'all can see, but this girl worked. So if you are interested in your brows being laid and your baby hair and your edges being laid, it's worth a try. I'm just saying. And listen, I am a stickler for making sure that I am shouting out Black-owned businesses, but I'm also an equal opportunity supporter. So I'm assuming that Got to Be Glued is not a Black-owned brand, but it works. All right, and anything in moderation. So there is my product placement. Got to be, if you want some commercial sponsorship opportunities over here at Nights with Nicci, I know we get a little politically incorrect from time to time, and that might be a little risque for your brand, but holla at your girl if you decide that you want to leap into this wonderful thing that's happening. So guys, I had a fantastic weekend. I was in Detroit over the weekend. I actually did a show on Sunday night when I came back. So if you haven't had an opportunity to check that show out, please do. Come on in here, hit them likes. We have a fantastic show for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking Cardi B's win in court. Honey, not only did she come out of there with a win in court, but she might be winning in the court of love and motherhood and everything else. Talk about mama gonna work it out. I don't know. It's some rumors swirling. And we are going to address some of those rumors that are swirling about our dear sister Cardi B. In fact, I got to go over and watch Pam, the Law Intellect's review, because I know she's following all of these cases and all of these trials and stuff. So I got to definitely go over to her page and get caught up on all things legal. Even though I be trying to pretend like I'm a little bit of a legal eagle because I got my own little legal thing going on. I'm not. And if you want more reliable information, then holler at the Pam the Law Intellect. Booster Betties, exactly. Boom. Stop boosting out here in these streets. And the silver is difficult to lay flat. Yes. What is going on with the silver edges not laying down? And y'all know how we do. Comb it down and you try to whoop-de-whoop. The whoop-de-whoop was just like whoop. But I didn't get the de-whoop. I just got the whoop. But anyway, that's what happened when you have gray hair. But I shall not complain. I won't complain. Why won't I complain? Because I thank God every single day that I wake up and have another opportunity to sit here and spend some time with all of you on Nights with Nicci. You feel me? Cheers with the Topo Chico water. So you guys, before we get into our topics, we're talking Cardi B. Her win at court, a little bit, just what the blogs are saying, of course. If you want the actual paperwork, as I said, go to my sister Pam, the Law Intellect, and she will give you the breakdown that is the one that was in the courthouse, not the one that's just an opinion based on a headline. We're also going to talk, Kandi has some interesting things to say as it relates to her and Miss Phaedra Parks on Keke Palmer's show. We are also talking, our Senator Cory Booker has found the love of his life who has changed him in so many ways, so we're going to talk about that, and I got some interesting perspectives there. We are also going to talk a little bit about, this is kind of sad news, Pras from the Fugees is having some medical crisis going on in his life, and I would definitely, we want to send prayers, but we're going to update you guys on all of that. But before we get into the updates on all of that, let me stop and give my people right now a big oh nope, see, that ain't it. That ain't loud enough. Hold on, let me turn up the volume on everything. Let's try this one more time. This goes out to you and you and you and you and you and you. And one more for you. Thank you guys. No, seriously. Thank you guys very much for getting your girls, not your girl, because Worth TV is our channel. Thank y'all for getting our channel to very close to 20,000 subscribers. I think we are only a few hundred away from 20,000 subscribers. So I'm very grateful for each and every one of you who has taken the time out to hit the like button, to hit the share button, to hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, especially this month. Let me tell you why I need you to hit this notification bell this month. Because this month, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be either the end of the road, we belong together, and you know that I'm right. Why do you play with my heart? Why do you play with my mind? You said we'd be forever, although we've come. Listen, this might be the end of the road as it relates to my case with P-Valley and Stars and Lionsgate. This may be the end of the road. September the 29th of this year. 4 Mondays from now. We got 5 Mondays in September. So 4 Mondays from now. And for those of you who are new to the channel, if you see me looking over in different places, it's because we're watching from different places. So I want to make sure I give all of y'all some FaceTime. Even though my face is a little greasy and whatnot, but I'm gonna tell y'all, it's not greasy, it's actually moisturized. But anyway, September 29th, 2025, your girl is our case. Cause again, you know, I said this to my husband earlier today. You don't get to the Supreme Court by yourself. You don't get to the Supreme Court for something that only benefits you and your family and the people that you love and the people who care about you. You get to the Supreme Court when there is an issue at hand that positively or negatively impacts large groups of people. And this case that I've been fighting for 5 years. We got 5 Mondays in September, and I've been fighting this case for 5 years. And it has been the most difficult journey of my life so far. I've had a lot of moments where I've been like, But this is one of those moments in time, one of those journeys that I really could not have made it through without my husband, my family, all of you who have shared so much positive reinforcement. You know I get on here and I be ranting and I be talking all loud and crazy and belligerent and shit. I'm from Detroit. So it is what it is. But I'm grateful for y'all. I'm grateful for all of you, old and new, people who've been following for a long time. People are just getting on, this thing. Because as you can imagine, and you know what? I'm going to go so far as to say you can't imagine. Unless you've actually been in this litigation, this particular case, with these particular facts, and the way this thing has navigated itself or been navigated through the judicial and justice system, unless you've experienced that, you can't imagine. But it has just been the biggest learning lesson of my life. It has been a lot of scary moments. You know what I mean? A lot of scary moments. A lot of moments where I felt like I was going to that place where it was just going to be like, y'all remember that scene in Lady Sings the Blues when Diana Ross flipped out? She was putting her lipstick on and then she's like, I can't. She started writing on the mirror. That scene, I'm going to post it. Oh my God. Lady Sings the Blues was like my favorite movie ever in the whole wide world. But that scene where she was putting that lipstick on and she was trying to make it through that show and she just broke and was like, I can't take it no more. And if y'all seen Lady Sings the Blues, you know that moment where she flipped the fuck out. I've been that place. I've been almost to that place. So to my group members and to each and every one of you and to all of my folks in social media that have been lifting us through this process, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. But this right here, this moment right here is where the rubber meets the road. Meaning this is the moment where we really have to step up. Prayer warriors activate. If you care about justice for creatives, please repost, retweet. You guys, we have a link. I don't know how to post links yet. I think it's in my I don't know how to post them on TikTok, but we have a link. Our store is finally open. So let me give you guys this little tidbit real quick. There is a link in the description box of this video that will take you to our bonfire fundraising website. We have Creators for Equality notebooks. Why do we have notebooks? We have notebooks, honey, because you have to write your vision down. You have to make it plain. And when you put pen to pad, and that connection is way different than the thumbs, right? And even typing onto a computer. There is something energetic that happens when you write something down. And all of the great ideas and shows, or I'll say successful because great is relative, right? But all of the things that have been panned out to be very successful, mainly for a lot of other people, right? For me, from the perspective of, I created them, but, the generational wealth that is attached to many of the things that I created go to someone else because that's just how the system is rigged. People can just take your shit and run with it. And, if you don't have the resources to fight them and stand up against them, then you're asked out, like many underfunded creatives are. But we got notebooks, we got coffee mugs. We're about to have backpacks. We got t-shirts, we got sweatshirts. And every purchase that you make on that link, that bonfire link that's in the description box, every purchase that you make goes towards our mission to empower, to get creatives closer to equality, closer to equity, right? As we have evolved as a culture, we understand the power of IP better than we ever have, right? And the reason we understand the power of IP better than we ever have is because there are a lot of people out here with access through social media, through these apps, through channels like WIRF.TV that can continue to enlighten our people and inform our people on the benefits of trademark ownership, the benefits of IP ownership. And it's interesting because I think the biggest success story that we have in this industry right now of the power, the real actual power of IP is with our brother Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry has built something incredible, phenomenal, something that can sustain generations, right? Just based on all of the power he has because of his ownership, right? And I think that if more of our leaders in the industry, more people who have had that kind of success were transparent about what it took to get there, how important it is to be in that space and help teach people how to fish. It's one thing to hire people, right? That's what they do. Okay? That's what the people who live off of the amazing things. Please hit like, you guys. Please give me plenty of likes. The game is free. All I need is some love from y'all. And I'm going to do a little Q&A and some question and answer stuff, but I try to get it all out because then I'll start looking at the comments and I'll start responding to shit and I don't get the thought complete, right? So I'm learning my Nights with Nicci show host etiquette, right? Okay? Real time, I be wanting to talk to everybody. But what we do when we become really successful and we hire people, it's great to hire people. It's great to provide employment opportunities for people in your community because, we want to work. We want to contribute to the economy, but not everybody wants to be an owner. Not everybody wants to have like the backdoor knowledge of, how you maintain ownership of your IP. But there are a lot of people out there who do. And imagine if there weren't just one Tyler Perry or one Oprah Winfrey or one Byron Allen or one Shonda Rhimes or one Ava DuVernay or one Mara Brock, right? Imagine if each of them was able to spawn and multiplicity to duplicate, not duplicate themselves, but to give people like-minded individuals who may be equally as creative and equally as talented in different ways. Imagine if those people taught more people like that how to fish. Then we would have 10 Maras, 10 Tylers, 10 Oprah, because it is in our DNA to just get it. We just get it. You know what I mean? We just get it. And when there is not the spook that sat by the door, try to prevent us from being able to get to the next level, we find ourselves in situations where we evolve and we grow and we multiply. And, I was having this conversation today, and I'm pretty sure that I can share this. I won't share the specifics or the names, but I got a call from one of my attorneys who's a black woman. I have 4 black attorneys, just FYI. And then, the rest of them are non-black, and I've got lots, but, well, I'm not paying them right now. I'm just kind of rolling through this by myself. Some of them are. But anyway, I digress. So this is one of my black women attorneys. She is the attorney who handles the copyright and trademark stuff, right? So she reached out and she said, I have a student, she teaches students, she does clinics, she's super majorly talented. She said, I have a student, and could you just have a conversation with her? Because she follows your case and she's really inspired by your fight. And that was all she had to say for me, right? I'm not going to get into the specifics of the conversation that we had, but this is a law student. This is a law student in the world, in the space of copyright and protecting IP, right? So I'm here for that all day. So shout out to any young people, old people, I don't care who you are. If you are taking the steps to help creatives and copyright owners and authors, and that is a big deal. It's such a big job. It's such an important job. And let me just give all of you right now a nice little Nicci round of applause, period, because you're so important, right? And part of what I was explaining, and again, I'm not going to go into all of the specifics or all of the details, honey, but part of what I was explaining is just that we talked about this on Sunday, I want to say. We talked about the fact that I did a song for a Billie Holiday tribute, God Bless the Child. It's up. YouTube did allow us to go on ahead and post it, even though there's some words in there that are, words that the algorithm typically be like, hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no. Algorithm don't play. But needless to say, they allowed the Billie Holiday content to go up. And I was talking about how, on the conversation with this law student, I was talking about how since the 1930s, since Billie Holiday wrote that song because of, allegedly, because of a moment she had with her mother. Please hit like, you guys. Please hit like. Let the algorithm know this content is worthy. It is worthy. Billie Holiday allegedly wrote the song. None of us were there. Lots of the things that we hear that were written for reasons ain't the reasons. We've learned that these days. So we're going to go with allegedly. Sounded very Whitney Houston. Allegedly. Shout out to Whitney. Wendy, we praying for you too. But she wrote the song basically because she asked her mom for some money. And her mother was like, hell no, I ain't got none. You ain't getting none. In the 30s, I'm sure that was just crazy. And it was before the 30s, right? So she was inspired to write God Bless the Child That's Got His Own. And the whole premise of that was that she was like, it's okay, mama, you ain't got to give me no money. I'm going to get some myself. And God's going to bless the child that's got his own. And you got to have money. Because if you don't have money, then, the lyrics are just so freaking relevant today, With money, you got lots of friends crowding around your door. But when you're broke and the spinning ends, they don't come around no more. Empty pockets don't ever make the grade. Like, there is a very real truth to the haves and the have-nots. So the conversation about ownership has been going on for a very long time. The conversation about how important it is to have the resources. And in our community, because so often we don't, right? I'm not going to turn on my fan, but I'm hot. So often we don't have access to money. We have prolonged, like my husband always talks about the fact that, most of the problems in our community are directly attributed to, I'm sorry, I got to use my fan. I lied. Them that's God shall give, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. mama may have. Now, y'all, when I stop to fan and sing is when y'all give me hearts and likes and shares and notification bells and shit. And Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. My jazz version of Beyonce. That's got his own. Okay. Ooh, that felt good. Okay, I need you to turn off now. Excuse me. Thank you. So the reason I say this is because we were talking about the fact, and she wasn't aware of this because she's a law student, so she's a little younger. But we were talking about the fact that Billie Holiday, who died of liver failure, right, allegedly, I don't know what happened, but that's what they put on the records, right? But, you know, I'm just saying. Bessie Smith's story was just, I'm not going to get on the tangent, but what happened to black women back in those days, and, you know, we don't know what really happened, but we're going to go with liver failure. But they were waiting to arrest her because they found illegal substances. You guys, make sure you listen to the version that I posted on YouTube because Angela Bassett actually narrates the story. And it's Angela Bassett telling the story. And I don't know if it's because well, I'm sure that's why it is. Because Angela Bassett is narrating the story, I feel like it just really resonated and hit me like majorly to hear that when our queen, Billie Holiday, died, she has 75 cents in her bank account. My dog is probably, babe, will you get your dog? Because he's outside my door waiting for me to finish snoring, and I don't want him snoring through my whole video. Honey, if you're watching this, I hate to wake him up, but he loud as hell, and he like literally right outside the door, and I'm sure that y'all can hear this. Honey, co-executive producer of Nights with Nicci, come get your Mastiff. Okay. She had 75 cents in the bank. How you wrote and produced and created a song like God Bless the Child, songs like Strange Fruit, all these records that have gone on. Nina Simone is another example. Nina Simone was fighting for her intellectual property rights. Nina Simone was fighting for her money. Everybody's fighting for their intellectual property rights. Everybody's fighting for the things that they create, right? And as I'm talking to this young law student, I'm expressing to her how important what she's doing is. And anytime she or any other young law student or somebody who's working in the mental health space want to have a chat with your girl, holla at me. Go to worthmedia.com. We got forms that you can fill out, contact law student, whatever the case may be, you know, because I think it's so important for us to try and bridge the gap between what has happened since the 1930s and probably before. No, actually, excuse me, I stand corrected. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to get to the topics, y'all. But y'all know how these nights with Nicki's go. Hold on. Because I think I'm about to take it back even farther. Okay, no, that was 1952. Okay, 1952. I was going to talk about Big Mama Thornton, who recorded the original version of You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, Right No Time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You ain't got nothing, you ain't no friend of mine. That record, that was a black woman's record. Big Mama Thornton. She recorded the original version in 1952. A hit that stayed #1 on the R&B charts for weeks. Elvis Presley's iconic 1956 cover version became more popular, leading to the misconception that he was the song's originator, while Thornton was uncredited for the songs. It's crazy. They gave it to Jeffrey Lieber and Mike Stoller. Yeah. Anyway, Billie Holiday, Ella, so many of our greats, so many incredible creatives who created songs that to this day, if the song has been in rotation, because it's been in rotation, even though it's a jazz record, it's been playing and people have been singing it, and it's been the inspiration, the source material for so many other great things. Why, like, what is going on? Why is this okay? Why is this ever okay? I'll wait. Topo Chico time. Hit like, subscribe, share. Why is it okay? I'm going to tell you why. It's okay because people have historically been afraid to challenge the system that makes that the norm. People have consistently been in fear of losing opportunities. People have made the decision and the choice to acquiesce to the bullshit and allow people to take things that they create and allow people to take credit for their creations because they aren't willing to go as far as possible to fight and to stand up for those things. When I look at my ancestors and all the things that they've lost, my dad has even had things taken from him or other people taking credit for things that my dad wrote. My dad wrote some of the biggest records, engineered on some of the biggest records, produced on some. I done already told y'all, Merry Christmas. Y'all wouldn't even be listening to that if that wasn't for my daddy. Silent Night. Yes, my father produced the Temptations Christmas album, baby. And If I Were Your Woman. And Car Wash with Norma Whitfield, who was my godfather. And all the Rolls Royce stuff, right? You understand? But there was a time when certain people, no shade, no disrespect, because Uncle Barry is Uncle Barry, okay? And his niece is one of my closest and dearest friends in the world. But I think, again, we get confused about which systems manipulate black people and black artists, right? We give Berry Gordy a ton of credit for being this amazing person, and he deserves it, rightfully so. But there's always someone who checks the checker. There's always someone in control of the controller. There's always a distributor. There's always a parent company. There's always a guy up there in the upper room with a whole lot more power than some of the... Diddy is another example. We were all of the assumption that Diddy owns Ciroc. Turns out that Diddy had a sweet marketing deal for Ciroc, but he didn't own it. He didn't have the ability to say, no, we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna do this. And maybe to a degree, because he built the audience and whatever, there was some extra power that he had, some extra control that he had. But the bottom line is, unless you have ownership of your IP, unless you have ownership of your intellectual property, you have no power. And that is the reason why historically, since Billie Holiday and God Bless the Child, and probably, like I said, even before that, we as creatives, as musicians, as creators, have never been able to reap the full benefit of the intellectual properties that we create that generate billions of dollars. Let me ask this computer something. How long ago was 1930 in years? Yeah, we don't use our brains no more. We just ask. Okay. 95 years. 95 years. So we know God Bless the Child has been generating revenue and being played and entertaining people and serving its purpose for 100 years. 95, okay, not 100, 95. Are the descendants of Billie Holiday? I know that, you know, her charity, where, how, I talked about it earlier. Brownstone, still owed $1 million. Not quite $1 million, 840K. But sold $36 million worth of product. So TLC, Left Eye. Let's talk about my girl Left Eye, Lisa Lopez. I love Left Eye. Her spirit lives within me because she was such a fighter. She was the original OG of hold up, that ain't cool, what's going on? Not just Left Eye, all of TLC, because if what they said was true and they went up in there like, bang, bang, hoot 'em up, where my money at? How Rihanna said, y'all should know me well enough. Please don't call me on my bluff. Ballin' bigger than LeBron. What? TLC went up in there ready. And guess what? Things still didn't change. So many artists and so many creatives end up broke, penniless, like Billie Holiday. Like, even there were even moments when my mentor and king of music, Michael Jackson, had moments where allegedly, things needed to be moved around to make things happen. How is that even close to remotely possible? When the companies and the distributors that distribute the content and the product, that generational wealth is just a given. And how do we live in a world where the people who provide the actual product that you're selling, the people who make it, the people who create it, the people who give birth to it, literally, it comes from within them. It comes from the inside. It comes from within us. Something that will last and continue to generate revenue and continue to generate happy feelings and continue to generate, the cookouts and the parties. And we are working in perpetuity. Because every time you hear the song, listen, Chris Brown just did Brownstone in this concert the other night. Tory Lanez got billions of streams that I still haven't gotten paid for. So that should tell y'all that this is not like the whole Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion thing is not just about me just preferential treatment. It's just about me looking at the facts or more of the facts than I had before and realizing based on my own circumstances, what happens often. And I would never allow something as trivial as me feeling like I got a little side, played on the sample to be a reason why I would. And I think the reason I apologize to him is because I felt like because I got played on the sample. Oh, here it go. He done did something to Meg and I love Meg and he done, oh yeah, no, take the plaque down. I don't care, just some built up, bottled up shit. When in actuality, I had to really look at the big picture, which is that unfortunately in our industry, artists just, you never get the fair shot. You never get the real opportunity to have equity in the game. That is the reason why we are kicking off Creatives Equality Awareness Month. And real quick, whilst we're taking a break before we get into these hot topics, first let me get into some of these questions real quick. Gray hair is coarser. Yes, indeed, absolutely. Because it's supposed to be, I hate to say it, but DEAD hair, right? It's supposed to be hair that's like, I'm done. Show's over. Girl, did you know Tamar once said she ate dinner at my table, even watched my kids, and she took, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Okay, I'm reading things out loud that I can't make sense of right now. I'm definitely not going into that Tamar Funky Geneva thing. We're done with that. We're done with that. Hey, Victoria, I see you. You're not late. You're fanning yourself means you're on fire. That's right. I know that's right. Mama may have, Papa may have. Yep, y'all singing with me. Thank you guys for singing with me. Okay, Lady Sings the Blues. Listen, y'all, my favorite scene in Lady Sings the Blues. I got to tell y'all this. I know we back to Lady Sings the Blues and we got off of it. But my favorite scene in Lady Sings the Blues. What? And think about that. The whole Lady Sings the Blues thing. Billie Holiday's legacy created so much opportunity on so many levels for so many people. How did she die with 75 cents in the bank? And even though you could say the movie was made after she died and nobody knew, but well, come on, give me a break. No different than Whitney, no different than Prince, no different than so many, but I digress. My favorite scene in Lady Sings the Blues. Let me tell y'all what it is. First of all, I'm going to say this. There is no sexier, greater, ever been. Ozzy and Ruby kind of, but when I say sex appeal, just like mesmerizing to watch. Claire and Cliff, yeah, but mesmerizing, sexy, and just Billy D. Williams and Diana Ross. There has not been an on-screen combination to top or trump Billy D. Williams and Diana Ross in Lady Sings the Blues or Mahogany, but Lady Sings the Blues in particular. The scene when she wanted to take them DRUGS's and she was in that bathroom and they got to fight. And he had the bag and she wanted her stuff. And when I tell you Diana Ross, chef's kiss. Oh my God. But when they got to fighting in that bathroom, y'all, And she was in there. She got that dress. She was just sitting there. She was all strung out with her mouth open and shit. And he walked past, and his hair was a little, because he had, he had the whoop-de-doop on his hair. It was fried down, laid to the side. He fixed that little hair. And his fine ass looked at her beautiful self, just toe up and high. And he walked, and he looked in that bathroom, and he said, I'm going out for a walk. And when I come back, I don't want to find you here. I was like, no, don't leave him. Man, listen. If y'all haven't seen Lady Sings the Blues in a long time, honey, Louis McKay, what? Oh, my God. When he walked up out of there and said, I'm finna go, and when I go, I want you to get your ass out of here, it just blew my whole entire, I was like, whatever. Okay, you guys, hit like. All right, so let's get into some of these hot topics of the evening really quickly and shift gears. How do we shift gears? With the DJ horn. Y'all make sure y'all giving me likes and everything. Thank you guys for growing our channel. And make sure that when you leave up out here, that you do me the kind favor of making sure, yes, Lord, everybody right. Lord, you better speak on it. Nothing like Billy D. Williams. Listen, that Billy D, there is yet to be chemistry. Listen, let me not even get nobody no ideas, because I'm working on it. Just put it that way. I'm working on finding the combination. And I don't think you can. I think that's just kind of a once in a lifetime, fluke kind of a situation. But Lady Sings the Blues, Mahogany, that whole season of all of that stuff was just all of the things. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? Do you get what you're hoping for? When you look behind you, there's no open door. What are you hoping for? Do you know? I love it. All right, let's talk about Senator Cory Booker. Cory Booker is out here in these streets falling in love. Hold on. Let me get to the story. Let me pull it up. So our dear Senator Cory Booker just released big news from the Garden State of New Jersey. Cory just got engaged to his partner, Alex Lewis, in a heartfelt beachside proposal. Sharing the moment on Instagram, Booker described Alex as one of the greatest unearned blessings of his... Come on, Cory. Your mama told you to say that. Who told you to say that? One of the greatest unearned blessings of his life and his best friend. The couple radiated joy in the photos, donning traditional Hawaiian leis and beaming with happiness. Congratulations to Mr. Cory Booker and his beautiful fiance. She says that Alexis is the greatest unearned blessing of my life. She transformed me, helping me ground and center my inner life and discover the joys of building a nurturing home with someone you love. Ain't that the truth? I do have a nurturing home with someone I love very much too. He was thrilled to share that they're engaged. He said, I'm savoring the soul-affirming wonder of my everyday life with my partner, best friend, and now my fiance. We are excited for this journey ahead, having so much fun and feeling deeply grateful for love, support, energy, and you share it with us. We're truly blessed to be surrounded with people we love. Yay! Good job, Cory Booker. I like Cory Booker. So kudos and congratulations to New Jersey Senator Cory Booker. Okay, in this here next story here, honey, it is going down. Keke Palmer and Kandi had a whole conversation, and we about to listen to it. But before we listen to it, honey, I'm sorry. According to the Jasmine brand, the word on the curb is to stop holding up a prayer line for Kandi Burruss and Phaedra Parks to work things out. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Kandi said, not that. Speaking with Keke Palmer for her baby, this is Keke Palmer's podcast. Kandi once again shut down any chances of a reunion with former bestie Phaedra. She also shared that Phaedra has never tried to reach out following their viral fallout, noting, excuse me, we just don't speak. During the chat, Kandi also stood 10 toes down behind her support of Kenya Moore. As you may recall, the salon owner parted ways with Bravo last season after sharing explicit images of newcomer Britt Eady, and the crazy ordeal was retaliation after Britt threatened her with a firearm. Okay, you guys, so we're going to hear from Kandi's mouth. Kandi's doing some really dope interviews. I heard the one with, the one that she just did was really awesome.
But do you think there's any way that she could get you to look her way again? Has she ever tried to reach out?
No.
She never tried to reach out?
No.
Because she know?
No, it's, yeah, there's no reason for us to communicate. We've been in the same room before, but there's no reason for us to communicate.
And you guys just, you kind of just avoid, or not even avoid, but just,
we just don't interact. We just don't speak. I mean, not disrespectful. I don't come in cussing nobody out and that. We just, you stay your way, I stay my way.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to fake it for the world in that situation.
Yep.
I feel like I see people online trying to change what happened. Obviously, y'all did not watch the show. Y'all did not really pay attention to what happened.
Yeah.
And I do not care to re-explain it. I do not care to bring it up no more. If y'all, if people feel how they feel, I feel I ain't changed it, so.
You were also really vocal about Kenya Moore, like supporting her, and how they would disrespect her in the promos, and
Yeah, well, here's my thing. Everybody was like, oh, why would you say? Here's my thing. That's my girl, and I think people don't understand friendship. Y'all don't understand that my friend could be wrong or do something that's not tactful or whatever, but I can still have a conversation with her separately and not have to drag her publicly about something that she did when. Whatever. So at the end of the day,
yeah,
I do feel like, and after it's played out, it was wrong on both sides. And I just kind of felt like, you can't take one off and not take the other off. I felt like that was wrong. You know what I mean? And y'all can disagree with me, but that's how I felt. And I'm definitely going to support my girl and say they didn't even give her the opportunity to come back and apologize. Everybody else got the chance to come back and apologize.
Yeah.
So, why she don't get that chance?
Now she gone with the win fabulous.
Well, she's still fabulous.
Why would I go there?
Oh my gosh, she said now she go with the win fabulous. Oh my God. So real quick though. I really, Kandi's dope. Kandi's on her shit. Leandra Johnson is the interview that she did recently that I have to watch because I heard it's really, really good. And I'm here for a great one-on-one conversation between two divas or two amazing artists and performers. But so real quick on the Phaedra thing, Kandi and Phaedra, Nicci and Selena, who Mariah and such, there's always sort of people who used to be cool, people who used to be friends. Reality TV, I don't have to go down that rabbit hole with y'all. I have talked about it many a days. Reality TV is not the space that you go into with your friends thinking that you're going to come out of it as friends, and it is not the day you go into with your husband thinking that you're going to come out of that motherfucker married. Because it's just not set up for positive interactions between people who would normally have positive interactions. It is set up so that, i.e., Portia and Shamia, you could never told me in a million years that there would have been an issue between Portia and Shamia, as close as they were. But I didn't watch the full season of the show this year or this season, but you see what happened. Portia and Shamia walked away from the show, and they aren't as close as they used to be. I don't know that it's been mended or not. I have no idea. But that show is just like any reality show, is one where you really take a serious risk going on it with people that you care about and genuinely don't want to feud with, because the whole concept of reality TV is drama, poking the bear, and finding out how you can get a reaction from people. That's it. So I guess Kandi has made it clear. I hope that she and Phaedra work it out because they were very close one day. I hope all women who have been a part of reality TV, who ultimately at some point realized that, it was smoke and mirrors, fix it and get back together. But Kandi made it clear that she ain't in no hurry to run down the let's fix it lane, and neither am I. I'm wide open. I talk about this a lot. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with Selena. I think it's long overdue. In fact, I have some really dope ideas that I'd like to to share with her. You know what I mean? I think Selena could lead the franchise if she wanted to, honestly. But that's a whole nother conversation. I think she could lead the franchise, but I feel like there's a conversation that she and I would need to have first. I just don't look for friendships and relationships in situations where we work together on something like reality TV. I don't consider that. I think that's real extra business, right? It's different because my group members are my friends. They're my sisters. We love each other. But that is because there's no, manipulation, and, we're not at the mercy of producers who want to see drama. But I would never go into something like this with a spouse or a family member who I didn't want to be manipulated by the need for drama on reality TV, because that's the brand of entertainment. I also thought what Kandi said about Kenya was really interesting. Some of you may be aware, I've said it before, Kenya and I used to be best friends. We bought our houses around the corner from each other in LA. We were very, very close and very good friends. We've known each other since high school, very, very close. And then when I moved to Atlanta, we kind of got a little distant and a few things transpired and whatever. But, one thing I will say is that I do feel like what happened with Kenya is not fair. I do feel like they owe her the opportunity the same way a lot of other people got the opportunity, to fix or have her side told. She's poured a lot into the franchise. She is one of the most compelling housewives to watch, and I know her. So it's like when it's somebody and you still enjoy watching them, and it's kind of like, so she's TV gold, period, hands down. She's TV gold. She put in the work, and I believe that she deserves the opportunity. But from what I hear and for what I've seen, they have some other folks that they're bringing into the franchise. And I don't want to get into the whole gossip train of housewives because I'm just not that invested in it, but I've heard that they're allegedly, like, people around town have seen K. Michelle, and people around town have seen Pinky Cole, and people around town have seen other folks. And I will just say, hide your husbands, hide your kids. No, I'm just playing. I pray that, and I think everybody goes into these TV shows and these reality shows thinking, well, that's not going to happen to me, or that's not going to happen to us, because, we don't have no skeletons in our closet, or we don't have whatever. The whole point is these people are experts at making TV, making great TV. Please hit like, you guys. Please hit like. A chair. Singing, so I need likes. It's still a chair, even when there's no one sitting there. Come on, Luther. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when there are two of us all fall apart, and one of us has a broken heart. Do, 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 do. Shout out to Luther. I love you, Luther. All right, thank y'all for them hearts. So I say prayers to all the newbies. I think K. Michelle, if K. Michelle and Pinky Cole are in fact new faces on the Housewives of Atlanta, is definitely gonna be a tune-inner. I'm definitely gonna tune in. But I just love I love K. Michelle, but I think she's super talented and really funny. K. Michelle, Kiki, and as much as K. Michelle and Tamar don't get along, but the show of all shows is K. Michelle, Kiki Wyatt, and Tamar Braxton. And then there's another one out there that's just actually funny without even trying to be. But let me say this. Pinky Cole and her husband represent the Black American dream, right? No more than I would want Tabitha Brown and her husband to be on the Housewives do I want to see them, just because of the history of what happens in marriages and what happens in relationships, which is why I would never in a million years do it. And trust me, I've had people reach out like, hey, would you consider? No, absolutely not. Because, I'm a control freak, and I'm going to have to be in control of the edit of anything that I do on television, or at least have a whole lot of trust for the people who are. And that's rare and unusual and unheard of and impossible in reality TV. So would never do it. But I hope that everything stays intact. I'm praying for this Black excellence that is participating in this show. Kandi was able to really turn it into something really powerful and make a huge amount of strides and progress off of the show. And she didn't do it unscathed. I mean, she got some scars and she been at war with these motherfuckers. Please hit like, you guys. And I definitely think you have to work for it. And it's a fun show to watch. It is a fun show to watch. So if they don't mind, and obviously the bag is good and the popularity works. And this is the other thing I've learned, which is part of the reason why I said a while back that, you know, although I'm getting into the scripted space, shout out to everybody who submitted for curtains. We have not made any selections at all. So all of you who submitted are still in the runnings. I just had to go and have some meetings with my people about a couple of things that we're doing. So I mentioned this before. This is a hurry up and wait situation, but we are doing this pilot. So stand by. You'll be hearing from us soon. But I'm getting more into scripted and some specials and stuff like that. So I wouldn't do a reality show unless it was a documentary of following me while I'm actually doing this other stuff. But if I had the option of doing a reality TV series, it would probably, not for me, because again, I would never do it. But if I was a person who wanted to do reality TV, why not do the cream of the crop? Why not do the best of the best? Why not do the show that is the most highly rated and the most talked about? So from that perspective, I get it. If you want to do reality TV and you're not a producer or you don't want to produce it and you want to rely on the people or contractually make sure that you're good, it could really turn out beneficial. And I really hope that it does. But I'll be watching. Like this. Don't y'all mess with Pinky Cole and her husband. Because I don't want to see that. But I wish them the best, if that is the case. I'm just assuming. Okay, you guys, this is a sad story we're about to get into right now. We are at 57 minutes, still under an hour. We're going to go a little over an hour today. This is a very sad story to report, actually. Very, very sad story to report. Fugees rapper Pras is undergoing emergency colon cancer surgery. Sentencing for this issue that he has, which I don't know a whole lot about, but it's delayed until October. Pras Michel, beloved member of the Fugees, is recovering from emergency colon cancer surgery, delaying his scheduled sentencing in a high-profile federal case. The sentencing, originally set for last month, was postponed after the rapper required urgent surgery to remove cancer from his colon. Erica Dumas, a spokesperson for his legal team, confirmed the news in a statement exclusively shared with Complex. Pras was unable to attend his scheduled sentencing hearing on Friday due to emergency medical surgery to remove cancer from his colon. We wish him a complete and speedy recovery as he navigates both legal matters and his health journey. His cancer diagnosis has not been publicly disclosed prior to this update. A new sentencing date has been tentatively set for October 3rd, just before his 53rd birthday. However, further delays are possible if his condition worsens. In April 2023, Pras was convicted of 10 federal charges tied to international conspiracy involving foreign political donations and alleged lobbying efforts. The charges stem from accusations that he helped illegally funnel, allegedly, this is all alleged, $865,000, that's about what we still owe Sony, into Barack Obama's campaign, and later worked to influence the Trump administration to drop investigations related to Malaysian financier. He faces up to 20 years in prison but remains free on bond pending. It's really sad, you guys. I hate to hear it. I hate to hear that he's involved in any, crazy stuff. I'm wishing him the best. The Fugees, they were actually the first group I think we ever met because we had the same management in the 90s. Shout out to David Sonnenberg and Bernard Alexander. I remember going to this brownstone and meeting the Fugees and meeting Intro because they were also being represented by the same management that we had. I'll never forget me and Kenny Green just connected on the fact that he was in Detroit. He was from Detroit. Rest in peace, Kenny. Still by far one of the most prolific songwriters on the face of the earth. Their cover of Ribbon in the Sky. What? Ribbon in the sky. Ribbon. What? For so long. This night I pray that a star would guide you my way. Hey, Listen, that's that Detroit commission. It's no coincidence or a lucky chance, but what it is. Man, that Kenny Green, whatever. Sang his face off, wrote his face off. Rest in peace, my brother. Big fan of Kenny Green, big fan of Intro. And yeah, big fan of the Fugees. I hate that Pras is going through it. You know, Fugees have had a hard time. I mean, I know Wyclef is doing his thing, and if you've never been to a Wyclef concert or Wyclef performance, I don't know what you're waiting for, because it's the most fun that you'll ever have. I mean, I literally think that is the most fun I ever had at a concert, at a Wyclef concert, maybe close to it. Because, man, he get them flags out, and it was at the House of Blues. It was crazy. Back in the day, though. I don't know what it is now, but Wyclef is no joke. But Lauren and Pras, it just seems that there's a lot that follows the group. And I mean, people could say the same thing about Brownstone. So I'm praying for them, and I'm hoping that he is healthy and does whatever he needs to do. Cardi B. These is red bottoms. These is shoes. These is expensive. These is red bottoms. These is button broken nipple. Let me just say this. Cardi B is indeed I'm saying this with all the love and all the well-meaning energy that I can muster. She is like the Lucille Ball of our generation. Cardi B is so funny without trying to be funny. She is so authentic, and I think it just comes from her real, raw, authentic, energy. She just gives it every single time. So most of you probably are aware that she's been in court, and there's some rumors, some PG rumors, because she's looking like she is with child, and she looks adorable and amazing. And Cardi, we don't want to put this on you if that ain't it, but baby, it looked like maybe you might be expecting. Footage of her arriving at court for closing arguments earlier today has reignited online debate over whether or not she's expecting baby number 4. The rapper currently facing, or she just won actually, a $24 million civil lawsuit tied to an alleged 2018 altercation. Plaintiff Imani Ellis claims that Cardi, who was pregnant with her first child at the time, attacked her after spotting her filming the rapper ahead of an OBGYN appointment. While Cardi admits there had been a verbal altercation, she denies that things ever turned physical between her and the former security guard. So you guys, I'm going to play y'all this video of Cardi. Listen, Cardi B ain't playing with these hoes. That's all I got to say. She is not out in these streets playing with nobody. And I'm going to unpack this a little bit because this is a very important point to make.
Okay. So first thing first, I want to thank my lawyers. I want to thank the jurors. I want to thank the judge. And I want to thank the respectful press. I really, really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody at home supporting me. I know you guys having a little key with the moment, but to be honest with you, I have missed my kids' first day of school today. I missed my kids' last week of school yesterday because of this. And I'm not even playing around. I will, even if I'm in my deathbed, I swear to God, I will say it in my deathbed. I did not touch that woman. I did not touch that girl. I didn't lay my hands on that girl.
I believe you, girl.
And with that being said, this time around, I'm gonna be nice. The next person to try to do a frivolous lawsuit against me, I'm going to let me
hold on. What'd she say?
Countersue. And I'm gonna make you pay.
And I'm gonna make you pay.
Because this is not okay. I think people have like this misinterpretations of celebrities, like it's like, oh well, we could ask for this and they're gonna settle. You don't work at home and you don't work all day and you don't work for your money to give out your money. So don't ever think that I'm just gonna give you my money that I work hard for. I don't lay in bed all day. I work all day, and I work hard for my money, for my kids, and for people I take care of. So don't you ever think that you're going to sue me and I'm just going to settle and just give me my money. It's not going to happen. I do as celeb that you're going to sue and you think it's going to settle. I'm not going to settle, especially when I'm super, completely innocent. I know I got a little reputation, but I swear to God I'm innocent. I swear to God, like this, like.
Okay. So she swear to God she innocent, and guess what? Congratulations, Cardi B. And I believe you, sis. I believe you. I believe you. First of all, I believe her because who's going to get into a physical fight with somebody while they're pregnant and initiate the fight? And if you saw the lady that alleges that Cardi B attacked her, you know, that's like me fighting Cardi B. And that was one of those funny moments. They're like, well, how would you describe her? She's like, well, she's much, you know, it was hilarious when she was trying to say she's fluffy. When she tried to say she's fluffy or she's a little, you know, it was hilarious. Yes, I know. People have said, somebody said in the comments that she threw something at one of the reporters or whatever. I'm not saying she's perfect, right? But that is what I appreciate about her. And I made it very clear. It's certain stuff that I don't agree with. The WAP song was not my favorite, and certain other things. Like, I don't agree with anybody being disrespectful to anybody for any reason. And I know our girl sometimes will let you go in and let have, and you'll be like, well, Cardi, calm down. But I do appreciate that, number one, she's building her family. Her kids seem to be very well adjusted. I've seen a couple of clips with her children. They are absolutely adorable. They look so happy. They're always smiling and laughing. And that says a lot about who you are as a person and who you are as a mother. So, of course, I don't know her. I don't know anything about her except that I would love for her to come on board and come up and be an executive producer on the drama series Curtains. And if she wants the role, she could have it. I mean, you know, who wouldn't give it to Cardi B? But then Katori Hall said that she was inspired by Cardi B for P-Valley. So then would that mean that I would be infringing on her ideas? Even though she went from being inspired by Cardi B to being inspired by this person and that person, and we know what source material inspired Katori Hall to do P-Valley. The same source material that's in the Supreme Court. But the point I want to make about this Cardi B situation, please hit like and share and subscribe as you guys come in here, please. And thank you very, very much. I would appreciate it. The point I want to make about this Cardi B situation, that is such an important point, you guys. It is such an important point. She had a jury. She had a jury. She had a jury. She had a jury. Changes everything. The outcome is more fair. The outcome is more balanced. The outcome is more honest when you have a jury. And I'm so glad that she took this case to trial. And when she said, and she said it with her chest and her baby bump, when she said, next time somebody does this and puts a frivolous lawsuit out against her that she taking their ass to the cleaners, I completely support that. Completely support that. Number one, she fired off a warning shot. Do it again, because she could have very well done it here and probably would have won, but it probably wasn't worth her time. Because it's not always just the people that are going after these celebrities and people like Cardi B. Sometimes it's these overzealous ass attorneys, as we've seen in several other cases that I won't go talking too much about, but you know, overzealous ass attorneys will do it every time. Attorneys who are willing to do things pro bono based on the fact that they're taking down a high profile celebrity and their name and their reputation and their business is going to get, you know, so not everybody's coming into the situation with realistic expectations about some shit, right? But where it becomes a problem, right, is when, like Cardi said, frivolous, by all means, you should take her ass to the cleaners or his ass or anybody else who does it. But what is really sad and really disheartening is when a case like mine, where a judge makes a determination without a jury, right? You got a judge in his 80s who is making a decision about content and story that doesn't represent any of his lived experiences, right? So how is it possible that a judge can be an expert and act as a trier of fact or a juror and just completely omit the expert's report where there is an expert who has done this? In my case, my expert had been doing this for 30 years, did this for the Puzo family, the Godfather and all that. How is it possible for this judge to just unilaterally decide my case is frivolous, I have to pay the people millions of dollars in legal fees, and throw my case out without giving me an opportunity like Diddy had to go to a trial, like Cardi B had to go to a trial? Why is it that you only get a trial if you're doing something that involves criminal negligence or some kind of extra egregious behavior? Why don't we view the infringement of intellectual property, the theft of intellectual property, the robbing generations of families of their ability to build generational wealth and wellness? Why isn't that viewed as a crime as serious as some of these others? Why isn't that worthy of a trial by jury, by 12 people? Because the justice system is not equal. The justice system works better for people who have a lot of money. There, I said it. The justice system is a breeze when you have lawyers on retainers or when you paid into insurance that will help pay for your lawyers. The justice system is hell if you created something as solid as the story that Katori Hall was paid $100 million by Stars for. They gave her $100 million, y'all. They gave her $100 million, you guys. They gave her $100 million in season 1. That's season 1. They gave her $100 million for the story with the same exact beginning, middle, and end. Now, I know that there are people out there who want you to believe that those stories are nothing alike. I know that there are people who have interest, moneyed interest, who want you to believe that there is a very distinct difference between Uncle Clifford and Tata Burlesque. But if Tata means auntie in French, and burlesque means feminine and risque, and kitten is another way to call a cat a kitty, 5 little letters that I'm missing, Pussy, those parallels, homophobic antagonist who wants to come in and take over the club for a spot in the casino, and a girl who arrives carrying a red vintage suitcase. If those things are not enough to expound on the conversation, if the expert's report and 5 years of litigation is not enough to at least warrant me having the right to a jury, then the system is not equal. Justice is not for everyone. Justice is for those who can afford it. Justice is for those who have the money, the power, and the relationships to navigate through a legal system that unfortunately is not going to give underfunded creatives the same amount of consideration and courtesy and respect. And the only people who can change that is the Supreme Court. The only place that becomes different for me, and not just for me, but every other creative out here who is busting our asses to create, every other Billie Holiday, every other Nina Simone, every other Bob Marley, every other creative, every other Michael Jackson, and Prince. You see, Prince had to write slave on the side of his face. Prince wrote the words slave on the side of his face when he took the corporate machine to task. And it was Prince. Michael Jackson went and took the machine to task, and it was Michael Jackson. I am Nikki Gilbert Daniels from 9933 Mansfield Street in Detroit, single parent home with no money. Just the truth and faith and a commitment to sharing that truth every opportunity that I have, because what happened to me is wrong. What happened to me is unfair. And what happened to me is injustice. And what happened to me should shame any system that would allow people to believe that it's okay to not only throw my case out, not only throw my expert's reports out, not only deny me due process, but to also saddle me with millions of dollars in legal fees because a judge decided that he knows better what sexuality definitions are. He knows better what the creative storytelling arcs are. He knows better than people who have been trained, and he knows better than the person who wrote it and created it. Y'all know I be getting hot when I be getting hot. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot, I'm gonna take my clothes off. Y'all know that ain't right. Y'all know that's some bullshit, honey iced tea. But they've been doing it forever. They did it to Billie Holiday. They did it to Bessie Smith. They did it to Ella. They did it to Sarah. They really do it to women. Look at Phyllis Hyman. She just couldn't take it no more. She said, I'm tired, I'm done. I'm never going to do that. Y'all ain't never, ever got to worry about me taking myself out. Y'all hear that shit? Y'all better investigate. Because I ain't never been that person and never will be. But I understand, whew. A million times or more I thought about you. Shout out to Phyllis Hyman. Yeah, I'm a fighter. She's a fighter. She gonna keep fighting. You'll ruin your whole life trying to mess with me the way God has me covered and protected. None of us lives forever. All of us will lose people we love. Sometimes many of us will lose ourselves. But the confidence and the faith that I have in what is right, the belief that I have in karma, and the protection from the ancestors, from the beyond, from God, and from people right here, out here in these streets, makes me very confident that I'm on the right path. I have the right people cheering for me, the right people supporting me, the right people watching the people watching me. I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, yeah. I hate to hear that we're at a place in entertainment. I hate to experience that we're at a place in entertainment where artists and creatives are in such dire situations. I was talking earlier about the situation with Salt and Pepper. And I was talking about how terrible it is that there's this thing they created where it is the 35-year Copyright Reversion Act. It is something that was created to give authors and writers and creatives the rights to the things that they create back after 35 years. So anybody that you know who's created anything, listen real close to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all, okay? Anybody you know that created something amazing, wrote it, copyrighted it, protected it, signed over their rights to it, gave it to the record company, gave it to the publishing company, gave it to the book company. Anybody you know who gave their shit up, every 35 years, creatives have the right to have that reverted back to them so that they can control it, so that they can license it, so that it can live and benefit their families. But see, here is the gotcha with these motherfuckers, right? Oh, it's a gotcha. Mineral water. These are a few of my favorite things. If you'd like to advertise with us at WIRF.TV, Topo Chico, or Got to Be Glued, Edge, and Brow Gel, holla at your girl, because we'll be taking advertisers real soon when we get to that 20K. But here's the catch with these motherfuckers. So you get it back. But the gag is Spotify and Apple Music and all of the places that stream the music are controlled and run and operated and invested in and all of those things by the people that you're getting your copyright reversion from. So then it turns into, oh, well, you want your shit back? Take it. Where you gonna put it? Good luck pressing up them vinyls and selling them. Good luck sending people them downloads. You have to work with these people because they have managed to create a monopoly. And that is what allegedly Salt and Pepper are experiencing right now, where they're going after their intellectual property rights because they're at a space where it's time for them to get everything reverted. The copyright reversion goes back to them. But here's the thing. Because when they signed a production deal with a production company. And they didn't sign directly with the company that owns the masters. So now, Salt and Pepper are fighting for their intellectual property to be given back to them. And as a result, allegedly, I wasn't there, I don't know, but this is what I've heard and this is what they've said, and I tend to believe Salt and Pepper. They've taken their music off of streaming platforms and streaming services. You want to fight with us about those reversions? We gonna take y'all shit off our platform. And if that ain't dirty as fuck, I don't know what is. And this is all alleged. I was not there. I do not know. But I am assuming that that's the kind of power and leverage that they use when they want to get what they want. So I hope that these companies that have made lots and lots of money off of us artists, because, you know, guys, listen, Salt and Pepper sold way more records than Brownstone, and we have sold $36 million worth of product. How do I arrive at that number? At least $36 million worth of product. How do I arrive at the $36 million worth of product sold? Is because we've sold 3.7 is what music data has told us. So that's $37 million worth of product. We sold 3.7 million records to date, hard copies of records to date. And those records were sold for $10 a pop. So do the math. At least $10 wholesale. At least $10. And at least 3.7 million units sold. So that's $37 million motherfucking dollars. And we still owe them $1 million. Well, $850. How are artists not frustrated, angry? How do artists not feel used, abused, disregarded, disrespected? That is why we create Artist Equality Awareness Month, so that we can amplify the message of creatives who have been working their ass off. Just think about it, you guys. We are working for anybody listening to what we created in perpetuity. Every time one of our songs shows up in a Chris Brown concert, every time one of our songs shows up on the radio and somebody having a bad day, but all of a sudden their day is better because they say it, do it. Every time somebody goes to a car, no matter what, we are working. Our voices are healing. Our gifts are encouraging and inspiring. And most of us are broken. And most of us are broke. And most of us are battling depression and anxiety and insecurities. And it's sad because you work your ass off as an artist. Some of us, maybe not, I'm not speaking for every artist on the planet. I'm speaking for the vast majority, right? You work your ass off, time away from family, time away from your kids. Some people don't even have kids because they're just so busy, work, trying to be Oprah, trying to be this person, trying to be, you know what I'm saying? And then you have people around you who are, like Oprah said, will ride in a limo with you, but the minute that motherfucker breaks down, nobody's nowhere to be found. Like Billie Holiday said, Monday, you've got lots of friends crowding around your door. But when you're broke and the spending ends, they don't come around anymore, right? And then you're just kind of in this space where you're like, well, damn. I looked out for everybody. I picked up the tab every time it was a tab. I paid people bills. I paid rent. I let you live with me. I thought you had my back. And now you're dealing with the fact that you are alone in this sea of negativity and toxic energy and discouragement, and you've been abused by the label and abused by the manager and abused by the people who are just your friends because of who you are. And now you're facing the fact that you're just a famous person who the whole world knows, but you ain't got a pot to piss in because nothing that built generational wellness first, because without wellness, wealth does not matter. Nothing that helped you build generational wellness or wealth in your life to hold on to. And that is why so many people self-medicate. And that is why so many artists, and it's just sad and it's terrible and it's so depressing when you really think about Michael Jackson should still be here. Whitney Houston should still be here. Prince should still be here. Every artist that gone too soon should still be here making music, or if not making music, being able to pass the baton down to future generations. And that's just not how it works. And it's not just in music. During our Creatives for Equality, just real quick to tell you guys, we will be doing conversations every Sunday. This Sunday, I got a big conversation that we're posting. FromTheBottomUpFoundation.org is where you'll be able to watch them. There is a registration form. All you have to do is free. All you have to do is go to FromTheBottomUpFoundation.org and register to be a part of the conversations. We'll do a Q&A afterwards, but we highlight really successful creative artists yesterday, today, and from the past, and share their experiences. So some people will just share knowledge and information and their experiences navigating through this industry. Other conversations will have IP attorneys and litigation attorneys and publishers, and and it's not just about music, you guys. I've talked a lot about music tonight, but Eric Monty, the godfather of the sitcom. If you don't know who Eric Monty is, Good Times, All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Cooley High, so many other great series and great shows that this man was responsible for creating. We're almost at 1 hour and 30. I'm gonna get off shortly, but so many series this guy was responsible for creating, and Norman Lear took all the credit. Norman Lear wrote Good Times. Now your grandmother, matter of fact, I need my glass. Norman Lear wrote Good Times. Cabrini Green, The Ghetto, The Projects in Chicago. Norman Lear wrote those things. Come on. Yes, babe. I'm about to wrap it up. How's my producer just knocking on the door in the middle of the show? I mean, damn, I know you my husband and everything, but the show ain't over yet. I still got, 3 minutes? Norman Lear wrote Good Times. No more do I believe that than I believe that the people who are on the, go look, this is the exercise for tonight, and then we'll come back and we'll finish this conversation tomorrow. But babe, you can come inside if you need to. This is the homework assignment for tonight, and we'll come back and we'll pick up and we'll have more of this conversation tomorrow, because I got a really solid show for you guys tomorrow. Go look at P Valley. Go look at the people who are listed as producers of P Valley. You guys assume because Katori Hall is the person that they put out there front and center, that's the person with the natural and, the sister. When you look at who the producers are and the people who have more power than Katori Hall on P Valley, it's Norman Lear. I mean, it's not literally Norman Lear, but it's a bunch of middle-aged white men, younger and middle-aged white women, who are all in far more important roles and Liz Garcia. That's a name you haven't heard. Oh, but if you dig into my case, you'll see it. Liz Garcia was the showrunner before Katori was. Katori was shadowing her. There's this whole shadow showrunner concept. Oh, we're going to go really deep and good and lay this thing out. We're going to go frame by frame and lay this P Valley thing out, because guess what? September 29th, the show is over or the show is just getting started. And I'm going to say this. Even if the Supreme Court does not grant our writ of certiorari on September 29th, even if on September 29th they say, Nothing to see here. This lady didn't deserve to go to trial. And yeah, even though other Ninth Circuit Appeals Court judges, in their own words, say that it is hubris for a district court judge, again, Judge Kim McLean Wardlaw of the Ninth Circuit, Judge Paez of the Ninth Circuit, these are senior judges in the Ninth Circuit. If my case had gone before them, they may have given me a shot. Why? Because they have said, under no uncertain terms, Judge Wardlaw, said, it is hubris for a district judge to think that they have the power and the knowledge and things that people go to school and get trained for to unilaterally make those decisions and just throw these things out. Judge Paez said, throwing things out on summary judgment is not always, there's so many things, so many conflicts in the circuit, so much to see in this here case. And I am praying to God, and I need y'all to pray with me, that on September 29th, I need 4 justices out of the 9, 4, to simply say, this woman deserved to go to a trial and present her facts. The expert report shouldn't have been thrown out. This was abuse of discretion, and her due process rights were violated, and she deserves to go. Now, that means I go back and I have to go through this thing all over again, but that's better than them taking everything from us because we had the audacity to stand up for ourselves. That's better than the fact that this judge wants to prove a point by making me pay millions of dollars to people with billions of dollars because I had the audacity to stand up for myself. But what we will learn either way, whether they throw it out and dismiss my case and say you're done here, or whether they grant me certiorari and allow me to go forward. If they say no, we know that there is no justice as it stands for creatives. There is no equal justice for underfunded plaintiffs. And we have to just continue to work to make sure that that change happens. And we have to lean in and we have to amplify. And every time we turn a corner and see injustice as it relates to these creators, and also not just that, create platforms and opportunities, which is what we're doing here at WIRF.TV channel, right? What we're doing here. Please give me some likes, you guys. Please give me likes. I know I get on here and talk about it like it's no big thing and it's super duper easy, but what I'm doing is the most nerve-wracking shit in the whole wide world. I've been in 5 years of trauma. I'm just someone who functions in the space of chaos. God bless me with that. But the average person could not take what I've been going through. But at least we'll know if they say no, that they don't give a damn about us. All I want to say, and we know, and we kind of have an idea, but this makes it more factual, that you just don't stand a chance. And we have to lean into the fight to change that and to provide platforms and opportunities where we don't have to go pitching our shit to nobody else, where we don't have to go sharing our content with hopes that somebody green lights it, where we can do it right on our own platforms and get it right to our audiences and right to the people. And that is why I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys for the likes. I appreciate you guys for telling people to tune in and share this with your family members and your friends, because what we're building is liberation. What we're building is ownership. Ownership is liberation. And being able to, the stuff that you see me posting, the from the bottom up and all that other stuff, these are things that our nonprofit and Worth Media collectively own or co-own. And that is why we have the ability to do it. And these are things that in perpetuity, just like our music, just like Billie Holiday's God Bless the Child, which is what we started with earlier today, these things will be able to feed our children and hopefully feed future generations. And this is a historic moment because you are able to just go through and scroll through and see all of these lives and all of these car rants and see the progression from the very first post that I made, hopefully all the way up to the point that the Supreme Court grants our writ of certiorari and allows us to go forward to trial. Because look at what happened with Cardi. Look at what happened with Diddy. And that needs to happen with me. So I know I didn't get into any of your questions or commentary tonight, you guys. Please forgive me for that. But we covered some cool hot topics. And hopefully y'all got a little bit of information that you find valuable. I never put my Cash App in the chat, but if you want to support us, because we are viewer supported, please go to Fight, Fight, the number 4, and worth, WIRF. Fight for worth. Please share and let people know that we're not giving up. And I've heard a couple people ask about some music stuff. Brownstone is in Boston this weekend with the incomparable Teddy Riley. We got some really cool things coming with that, y'all. So stay tuned. Stay prayed up. Keep your head on a swivel. You know, stay creating. Stay protecting the high value, preeminent business assets that you create. And stand up to bullies. All right, you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all so much. And you are watching the hottest late night in the motherfucking YouTube streets, baby. It's your girl, Nikki Gilbert Daniels. And I want y'all to have a wonderful evening. Thank y'all. There's a lot of places that you could spend the night. And I'm just so glad that you spent your night with Nikki. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Peace. Good night, sexy people.